I still remember one of my students raised a question. Kinsa bagyo daw ang nagsugod ang conflict sa Mindanao? Dito ko nag-start og wonder na wala gyud day sila'y context or understanding of our culture, our history, particularly in Mindanao.
As a history student, trying to learn yung vast course ng disiplina, is that sinusubukan ko na intindihin kung ano ba talaga yung tunay na nangyayari sa lipunan natin.
Mindanao is not just a chapter in our history, it is a book unto itself. A tapestry of narratives that blend the histories of indigenous peoples, Moro and migrants.
As indigenous person, I am part of the entire web, not only with the indigenous peoples, but everyone who advocates peace.
In advocating peace, I think it is very important that we understand, we know the past, because in peace, healing is very important.
Looking at this, it's very important that we understand our histories, particularly in the context of Mindanao.
Kung maintindihan mo yung dinadanas ng mga tao, kahit sino pa sila, pag maintindihan natin yung pagkakatulad na yun, pagkakatulad ng danas, ng aspirasyon, ng layunin nila sa buhay, ay at some point, ito yung nag-i-inspire ng, kumbaga, parehong advokasya or parehong pagkamit doon sa ninanais natin na kapayapaan.
Each thread is essential to understand the Philippines in its entirety.
We are a strand of the web, and that's what we are threading, no? So that we will be able to foster, enforce understanding, compassion, and hope that we can still be united as one.
We work with a group of advocates who are scholars, historians, cultural workers, and also peace builders coming from Mindanao. At the heart of what we do is the commitment to promote inclusive Philippine history education by integrating Mindanawon narratives.
Threading histories, weaving our peace. This is Mindanao Histories and Studies.
Mindanao Histories and Studies is very important advocacy because currently in our education system, although there is a law that already mandates the integration of Mindanawon narratives into Philippine history education, there is still a lack of comprehensive inclusion of histories of Mindanao, especially of Moro people and indigenous peoples of Mindanao. A series of conversations were done together with historians, scholars, and members of civil society organizations, as well as government institutions like CHED and DepEd, to really push for the integration of Mindanawon narratives.
And then later, when all the activities of the technical working group ended, we came up with that roadmap.
And so the roadmap was really created and meant for government institutions like CHED and DepEd to actually implement the law, the necessary changes into the curricula of Philippine education so that we really see stories, cultures of Mindanaoans reflected in our education system.
We had a plan to really conduct roadshow on peace because we started it last year, and we have to sustain these activities since peace is part of our advocacy of the Mindanao Histories and Studies.
Nagkaroon kami ng initiative to do the roadshow here. It's because I think Jansan is one of the place na diverse yung population when it comes to our studentry. Meron kaming IPs, meron din kaming mga Moro, and then marami kaming mga settlers dito. And I think being part of this roadshow, especially about the advocacy, isa siyang magandang pagkakataon para sa aming mga estudyante.
As an academic institution, we want to share in crafting this Mindanao Histories and Studies.
We prepare for them, syempre yung mga long-reach films. Most of these stories are actually stories from the Mindanawons because film is very powerful platform, no, to capture narratives.
We try to integrate the promotion of culture. Like we conduct activity aligned with National Heritage Month. It's either exhibit, food bazaar, yung tinatawag naming Lutong Mindanao. Meron din kami yung Larong Mindanao. And then meron din kami yung filmmaking that features the diverse and colorful tribe people, Mindanao.
Activities like this help shape more visions and more appreciation of what Mindanao is all about.
When we speak of Mindanao, there's really a certain notion and stigma that Mindanao is a place of conflict, Mindanao is a place of war, of insurgencies. But I believe, as a Mindanaoan myself, I believe we need to really advocate for peace, starting here in Mindanao.
So we have to write our own stories and histories. So I think, as I said, nobody will write that except us. So this is not only because Mindanao is special. No, we are not. We are just like Luzon and Visayas. But because the unique kind of history happened in Mindanao.
We should learn to respect and we should learn how to dig deeper sa situation.
And at the same time, there was hope also that was felt watching the film. Hope to finally achieve peace in Mindanao.
My experience for today's forum, it has become an eye-opener for me. Most especially nung the films are being introduced. There are a lot of realizations, there are a lot of learnings.
From elementary to high school, meron kaming subjects related to the Philippine history, but little to none lang po yung mga stories about Mindanao history. So it is very important po as a Mindanaoan to showcase yung mga stories, yung kasaysayan po ng Mindanao kasi napaka-diverse po ng Mindanao. Kaya napaka-importante po na malaman po natin o maisalaysay yung mga stories ng Mindanao.
We are addressing this to the youth, and we know for a fact that the youth nowadays, they're really interested in social media and things like this, the actual learning. I think this will be a good way of inviting them to understand what we're doing, to understand what would be their participation about forging lasting peace in Mindanao.
As a student po, I've always been so passionate of history, lalo na po sa local history. And ang ginagawa ko po na approach is that I always try to promote and to advocate local history through social media po. Kasi ito po yung ginagamit namin na teenager ngayon.
As someone coming from the Bangsamoro, I'm really grateful for this experience or for this platform that we are able to educate and make an awareness of what really happens back in our homes that is not really seen sa mainstream. It makes me proud and it makes me grateful that we are being represented into this kind of forums in which people na change natin ang kanilang mindsets of what peace is and what's the real status quo in Mindanao or in the Bangsamoro region.
We learn a lot from the past. And from knowing the past, you can avoid repeating the history. And that is very essential in our advocacy for peace.
Peace is relative. We cannot say that your concept of peace is the same as my concept of peace. However, when we establish context, that's where our peace and our directions would merge and converge to be able to reach at the same direction, which is peace in Mindanao.
Mindanao is more than its challenges. Mindanao is a hub for cultural diversity. Mindanao is also a potential of untapped talents and also a hub for peace champions. Let's take this opportunity, to tell the world that peace is not only possible, it's inevitable in Mindanao.
Hindi lang naman lahat sa kasaysayan ay puro hinanakit. Kaya din natin yun binabalikan kasi gusto natin magkaroon ng gabay sa hinaharap na hindi na maulit yung nangyari.
Peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is also experiencing justice, experiencing harmony, and fostering good relationship.
In every story shared and lived in Mindanao lies a piece of history waiting to be heard. Join us in building an inclusive history for future generations.